Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. Sorry for making you guys wait so long. I was eating my supper. We ordered some pizza. We had some yummy pizza and I was just finishing it off. So I do apologize, but I did not wish to bring you a mukbang stream. I am not the female version of Nikocado Avocado. So here I am now. We are ready for a good long stream. Got some videos to go over. Namely the Bret Cooper's first video that she's done by herself, not with the Daily Wire. And yeah, but before we get into that, and Abba and Preach's latest video about DJ Academics, we are going to watch a few other videos. And we're gonna have a good night, I think. It is a very, well, it's not very cold. It's actually pretty nice comparatively to what it has been in the last week or so. It's been really cold, but it's January, so that's normal. But I'm hoping that February will be a little bit warmer, a little bit less wintry. And let's see, what do we have? The kids had no school today, so I was hanging out with them. Yeah, hanging out with the kids today. We went and got them some new pants. Just kind of went for a walk around town to do that. And that's about it, because there wasn't really anybody out. So we just kind of hung out together. They played some video games, and yeah, it was a good day. I recorded a couple videos, so be sure to check those out after the stream is done. And yeah, I'm trying to. Tired? Because I'm
worse than Charlie.
I'm tired.
You sound worse than how most of the streamer dudes sound on here.
Well, I'm tired. Let's see. Fun. I don't know. Oh yeah. I'm kind of alternating between the original campaign and seasonal, the new campaign with my characters on Diablo, so I'm kind of back and forth between those. And I want to finish the original campaign so that the Vessel of Hatred campaign makes sense. So I'm trying very hard not to run my Necromancer right now, which is difficult because she's fun. But I need to finish my campaign with my rogue, so that's what I'll be doing on Twitch tonight, and that will be later on after this stream. And what else I have not been doing very much, which is not good. I need to be doing more. I know it's winter, but I need to do more stuff. That's the problem. I need to do more stuff so that I can talk about it here. That's what I need to do. And that way I won't have a boring frickin' intro. So I think first video we're gonna do is the very satisfying downfall of TikTok And the reason I want to do that one first is because I really don't miss my TikTok account. Like, at first, when I first deleted it, I was like, oh, my TikTok account, for like a day. And then after that, I'm like, nah, I don't really care about it. And I don't miss it. And now that I see the kind of stuff that is posted on YouTube Shorts, which is basically YouTube TikTok, I don't miss it at all. I really, really don't. It's vapid, it's mindless, it's stupefying, it's like I do not miss me, and I don't miss the infantilization that was happening to me on TikTok on my lives. Like, you're so amazing while I'm just folding laundry or making a very simple meal for my kids and my family. I just don't miss that at all. So let's look at this video here and see what it is.
Right now it's uncertain whether TikTok will even exist in a few months, and a lot of people hate this, seeing the US government acting yet again just like a nanny state, as nobody in their right mind wants more government regulation on what people do with their own lives. And of course, censorship shouldn't ever be tolerated by a government, but at the same time it's really not hard to see why TikTok might be poisoning society completely. Just by looking at some of the recent TikTok trends, and you'll see just how toxic this app can really be, which is...
It is toxic. Like, the different types of pranking that goes on that app, like the jumping into people's cars, the walking into people's houses, the different challenges that take place, like the cinnamon challenge and all these dumb fucking challenges that nobody should be doing. It's really, really bad.
Which is why in this video, we'll be going over some of the worst TikTok trends ever seen on the app, to really assess whether TikTok is just like any other social media site, or if it really is a weapon of the CCP to slowly destroy the minds of Generation Z. And
okay, that's an interesting theory. Is it really just harmless fun, or is it this weaponized stupidity to damage Generation Z and Generation Alpha? Is it like that is a really scary conspiracy theory?
And if it wasn't already shady enough that ByteDance never sold TikTok, presumably under pressure from the Chinese government, the ban on TikTok might start to make more sense once you look at these disturbing trends, beginning with the Skull Breaker Challenge.
The what? Now that's a challenge I have not heard of.
The Skull Breaker trend raised a few eyebrows at how sinister those who take part in it can be. It involves two participants pretending to teach the third person a type of dance. The two outside TikTokers trip the middle one in mid-jump, causing them to fall back hard enough to break their skull in the fall. Hence,
oh my god, that's fucking sociopathic. That is just cruel. That's not a challenge. That is like how to kill somebody.
Hence the name, the Skull Breaker trend. The majority of the time, the middleman is unaware of what's about to happen. Once the trend took off, it seemed TikTokers didn't care about what damage they could cause to their friends.
No, apparently not. And that's a big problem with TikTok trends. Is they don't, the participants in them don't seem to care about what is going on with who, like, or who they hurt while they do their trend. They just want their recognition and their fame.
Doctors reported an increase in neck and back damage due to the trend, and doctors have since shown the possible repercussions of this stuff, which most of the time leads to bleeding in the brain.
If you hit head first, you can have a skull fracture, a hematoma on the outside of the skull, or even bleeding within the brain.
That is scary. All just for some likes and some views and some comments. That is terrifying.
I couldn't feel my hands, I couldn't feel my legs, my feet, nothing.
These warnings were put out in hopes that it would stop kids from following the trend, as in one instance a kid was rushed to the hospital because he was unresponsive after falling victim to the skull breaker. He suffered a concussion which led to a seizure. The parents quickly laid assault charges against the two kids who did this to their son, and who—
Good, because it is assault. It doesn't matter if the person falls for it. That is brutal and inexcusable. Not unexcusable, that's not a word. That is inexcusable behavior. I don't care if it's for a TikTok post. It's still wrong.
And who can really blame them? It's a malicious act aimed at breaking another person's skull. When kids at the school were questioned, one who had done the challenge said it was incredibly painful both physically and mentally. One kid explained that TikTokers do it because they are led to believe they will get famous on TikTok. And
well, okay, I'm sorry. Who believes that you're gonna get famous for getting somebody to smash their skull? Like, how stupid do you have to be? And how low on the empathy rating scale do you have to be to cause this kind of damage and be like, but it's for likes and fame? Like, really?
And anything is worth it for the clout.
Because TikTok is like a trending app, so I think this will be an opportunity to get them famous.
Those 5 seconds of short fame is enough of a reward to break someone's skull. The plain truth is that this is an assault in disguise of a prank. Now TikTok quickly began removing this trend as it was against their policy. However, this particular trend was one of many that caused tremendous harm. And of course, while schools would ban the trend, there's not really much they can do here.
No, because they'll just wait till after school. And then they'll film it, and they'll just film it and post it later, and it won't matter. The schools can say you can't do it on school grounds, like just like when they banned the trading of Pokemon cards, right? But kids still got into fights over Pokemon cards just off school property.
And not only does the act of being tricked betray their trust around their fellow students and friends, and all the physical and mental damage this does, but to add insult to injury, this humiliating moment is then viewed by millions to laugh at. But nothing is as stupid as the recent TikTok trend known as the fire challenge. The fire challenge is a self-inflicted challenge by setting yourself on fire and quickly putting yourself out.
Why? Why the hell are people doing that? Like, okay, I was on TikTok. I had 34,000 followers. And I know that's not very many in the grand scheme of things. But, like, I don't understand the whole purpose or draw of being stupid. Who sees these trends and goes, yeah, I want to do that. Yes, I want to be in tremendous amounts of pain while I light myself on fire. Yes, I want to be in tremendous amounts of pain while I swallow a ladle full of cinnamon. Yes, I want to poison myself while I eat a Tide Pod. Like, why? What is the point?
Most of these challenges were done using flammable liquids in small quantities, just as rubbing alcohol, nail polish remover, and hand sanitizer being the most common liquids used. The trend is done near a shower or a source of water in the hope that it's easy to manage putting out the flames. Now, most rational people would never dream of doing this themselves, but if your prefrontal lobe hasn't fully grown, and you're just an adolescent teenager, doing whatever it takes to get a quick burst of fame, this might actually seem like a good idea.
I'm sorry. I think that's a cop-out. Because when I was a teenager, like, yeah, we did stupid shit. Right? We did shit like jump in shopping carts and ride them down the hill. We climbed up on top of portables. We did all sorts of stupid shit. But we never, like, lit ourselves on fire. Or ate laundry detergent. Or consumed vast quantities of actual spice. Like, that's... I feel like saying your prefrontal cortex isn't developed so you can't make the right decisions is a cop-out in this situation, because there are generations of people who manage to go through being a teenager while doing dumb stuff, but not doing, like, life-ending stuff. Right? It's not... what, like, this generation is probably the first to, on a societal scale, do this much suicidal behavior without actually being suicidal. Do you know what I mean?
Especially when you see other people on TikTok gaining millions of views doing this. Other than the clout this gives you, it serves no other purpose other than supposed bravery. But the after effects could potentially reframe your entire life and devastate your loved ones around you. But the thing is, most people don't actually know what it's like to really be on fire, especially teenagers who can't really comprehend the repercussions of this, even just for a few seconds. Depending on the flammable liquid used, the intensity of the burn can do so much damage. Once skin is burnt, germs get caught into the bloodstream, increasing the risk of massive infections. And to repair the skin, you need painful skin grafts, which means taking healthy skin from another part of your body to grow over the burned dead skin. It's an incredibly painful, lengthy, expensive recovery period and leaves you with scars for life. You can inhale the gas, which can damage or even destroy your lung tissue as well. And anyone who has actually done this challenge can testify that it's really not worth it for all the fame in the world. But of course, most adults would know this. However, little kids really don't. And when they see these videos on TikTok, it gives them a horrible motivation to actually pursue this stuff. Like when the 12-year-old girl, Maya Landers, suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns all over her body after doing the fire challenge. She spent over 2 months in a sterile room in the burns unit recovery. Her message is truly heartbreaking. She warns against doing the challenge and says she's grateful to be alive. Her mother is completely traumatized after seeing her 12-year-old daughter running past her room in flames. Her once healthy daughter now had to shave all of her hair off and will have scars for the rest of her life. All because TikTok viewers developed an insane new trend. All just
well, that's the thing. These stupid TikTok trends do nothing but cause damage. And like I said, to say that, oh, the prefrontal cortex isn't developed, I don't care. That should make you ride your bike down the street without your hands on the handlebars. That should make you climb onto the roof of a portable while you're playing grounder with your friends. That should make you jump in a shopping cart and ride it down the hill, really, like, and oh, if it tips over, that would be really funny. There's saying that your prefrontal cortex isn't developed, so lighting yourself on fire might seem like a good idea, is a cop-out.
Just for clout and to be recognized. And because it went so viral on TikTok, most of this young audience was too young to even think of the repercussions and just solely focused on the promise of fame. This stuff became especially big news around 2020 during the lockdowns, as it coincided with things like the Benadryl challenge. Now, Benadryl is a drug primarily used for allergy relief, with recommended dosages of 1 to 2 pills every 4 to 6 hours.
Oh yeah, the Benadryl, isn't this where so people could see the Hat Man? I'm pretty sure that's what that was about, so people could see that weird hat man.
It's a non-prescription drug, meaning it's easily accessible and, like many similar drugs, has a large potential for misuse. While the FDA believes that it has some limited abuse potential in the United States, if the internet shows anything, they're completely wrong.
Well, that's because, honestly, you can abuse anything that's over the counter. Like ephedrine or Benadryl or dextromethorphan.
Or maybe people are just idiots. There's been a bunch of people showing why people want to take this drug, particularly due to its effectiveness in causing vivid hallucinations indistinguishable from reality. Hence the TikTok Benadryl challenge. It all started with users recording and sharing their experiences with this drug. And with these crazy hallucination stories, it makes people who are bored with their life want to see what's actually going on here.
And that's the problem with this. That's what this generation is. That's the problem with this generation, is that they are all bored with their life. There's nothing entertaining them, and there's nothing giving them purpose. So this is what they're doing.
What's in this drug realm? And as more and more users took part in this challenge, increasingly more and more people wanted to discover these hallucinations themselves. And with the views that came from discussing these stories, people began taking dangerously high doses, all to have more and more extreme hallucination stories that they could tell their audience about.
Oh, good. Yes. Let's increase our doses so that we can hallucinate without, like, what the Jesus Christ. It's like, and I've heard people who have taken way too many of these things. They sound so fried all the time. It's crazy.
Which of course meant something was bound to go wrong.
Yep.
And unfortunately in May 2020, a children's hospital based in Fort Worth released a statement that 3 teens had been admitted due to the trend. The mother of one of the teens recalled the moment she found out her daughter took 14 Benadryl pills in the middle of the night and
What the 14 Benadryl pills at once? Holy crap.
Memorial Day. Quote, I got a call from mum and she was telling me I need to wake up. I didn't know what was happening, it was scary. She was having vivid hallucinations, and her resting heart rate was 199. And while Rebecca made it through the night, the same couldn't be said for a 15-year-old from Oklahoma who took part in the challenge just a few months later. While the FDA did address this issue eventually, releasing a memo about how the reckless trend can lead to serious heart problems, seizures, coma, or even death, this trend somehow continued into—
Oh fuck, this is the thing about YouTube, that we have to now censor the word death. Like, really? We have to censor that word if we're going to monetize a video?
2023.
We can't talk
in April
about
2023,
it in
the
this
13-year-old boy
context.
from Columbus, Ohio took 14 pills. As the challenge revived itself, and more people started talking about their experiences once again. But sadly, because he was so young, consuming such a high dose, it tragically took his life. But the issue with TikTok is that it's so disconnected from real reality. It doesn't matter what happened to whoever last week, a new trend has arrived and that's what everybody turns their attention to.
Yeah, and this is the problem, because everybody is so obsessed with likes and virality and whether or not things are going to catch on or get viewership, that they just do the stupidest shit ever. Like, and that's why I never got really any attention, because I didn't do the crazy shit.
So your 15 minutes of fame are always so fickle, meaning you have to do whatever it takes to stay relevant. But perhaps even more horrifying was the hot water challenge. The challenge is to drink boiling hot water through a straw, or you can pour hot water on someone else, or even yourself. Relevant. But perhaps even more horrifying was the hot water challenge. The challenge is to drink boiling hot water through a straw, or you can pour hot water on someone else, or even yourself.
That is... I've heard stories of abuse victims with burns from having their abusers pour boiling water on them. What the fuck?
Like the fire challenge, the after effect could be life-altering. At least one poor little girl lost her life by attempting to drink boiling hot water through a straw. She was tipped by her cousin to do the challenge, and was immediately rushed to the hospital with second-degree burns in her throat.
Oh my god, that's horrifying. And screw that cousin for making that little girl do that. I'm sorry, I don't care. That TikTok is not the only entity to blame here. It is also on the cousin who should have known, hey, this is a little girl, like I'm guessing under 10. We really shouldn't be doing this to this particular cousin. You know, perhaps if we're going to do this dumbass prank, maybe we should look for somebody slightly older. But apparently not.
They had to do surgery on her windpipe to clear the scar tissue, completely losing her ability to speak. And after battling with more complications, 5 months later, she succumbed to her injuries and lost her life. And what makes this challenge even worse is that unlike the fire challenge, people on TikTok were actually promoting you to do this to other people.
That is assault. Again. And like I said, I've heard throughout the years of abuse victims whose abusers poured boiling hot substances on them, water, oil, etc. And it's like I'm absolutely shocked that there were TikTokers promoting you to do this.
Like when Kylan Clark was asleep and his friends dumped hot water on him, all just for a TikTok video. You see, they'd seen the challenge on TikTok, and one of Kylan's friends decided to prank him, thinking it'd be funny and they'd get more views because of it. And when Kylan looked down on himself, he saw his literal skin was falling off his chest. After checking himself in the mirror, he saw more skin falling off his own face.
And when it's like that much pain, your body just kind of shuts down, like your nerves just kind of shut down, so you don't really feel it's the same as a big cut, right? It doesn't hurt like a little cut does for some stupid reason. Well, because your nerves just shut down, so you don't like lose your mind.
The 15-year-old was then rushed to the hospital with second-degree burns on his face, back and chest, but luckily after a week of treatment, he was able to survive and released from the hospital.
Doing a viral dance challenge after being burned during another viral social media challenge.
We didn't know it was gonna turn out like this.
How could you not? You know when I learned? Do you know when I learned that you and I kind of knew before this happened, but you know when I learned that skin comes off your body when boiling hot water is applied? I was 10. Okay? I was definitely not 15. By the time I was 15, I knew that shit. And most of the people that I grew up with also knew that shit. How the fuck could you not know that? Like, I'm sorry. Why is this generation so much more stupid than the previous generations?
Usually somebody just wakes up and they're like, it burns, but they're okay.
There's also much more mainstream trends that are still equally as horrifying, like the one chip challenge. Now, on the surface, the one chip challenge doesn't sound that bad. This challenge was to buy the most spicy chip called the Pocky.
Beginning in 2016, Amplify snack brands promoted the one chip challenge for their brand Pocky.
Unlike the others,
Pocky I thought that was a chocolate wrapped stick. I thought it was like I thought Pocky was something.
At the start,
completely
this
different.
was just a great way to boost sales on the food, and so the company behind it decided to make a challenge out of it. If they could make a challenge out of it and it spread virally on TikTok, they'd get more views for their product and thus more profits. But little did they know what would happen next. You see, this tortilla chip came at a much higher price. Participants even wore gloves to handle the burnt colored chip because it was made with Nega Viper peppers and the Carolina pepper.
Okay, so if your food requires its consumer to wear gloves to eat it, you probably shouldn't, like, it. You might want to make it a little less hot. I'm just saying.
The hottest pepper according to the Guinness Book of World Records. This chip was not meant to be taken lightly. The trend was only intended for adults, and the packaging warned against giving it to children or taking it if you had any health issues.
Well, no shit. Hey, don't give this really hot thing to kids. This really hot thing that you're using gloves to handle. Don't give it to kids. Really? I had no idea. I was about to serve a whole bowl full to my 2-year-old. Thank you for telling me.
On the
Jesus
back of the
Christ.
package, a warning label says keep out of reach of children.
But the problem was that it was in sale in stores and kids could still buy it, and mostly kids watch TikTok. Even with the packaging's clear warnings on the back,
Mostly kids watch TikTok. That's patently not true. There's plenty of old people on TikTok.
and the TikTok trend being designed for adults, little did they realize that their audience wasn't adults. Adults don't do TikTok trends, and kids being kids, they would take up this challenge. Like one 14-year-old boy who took up the challenge and sadly died a few hours afterwards.
In 2023, Harris Wollabaugh, a Massachusetts 14-year-old, took part in the challenge. After eating the chip, he experienced intense stomach pains and died a few hours later.
Oh my god. He literally burned to death on the inside, I'm guessing, from the capsaicin in the peppers that this chip is made from.
His autopsy revealed that he suffered a cardio arrest from a high dose of capsaicin within the lethal chip.
look.
This would immediately end the challenge, as the company would cease all sales and remove their products from all stores, completely trying to forget that this trend ever existed in the first place. Now,
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able to do that.
so far, most of what we've seen on TikTok is mostly physical challenges, but this next one is especially horrifying because of the disrespect it carries. Everybody with a soul knows that dancing on someone's grave is completely disrespectful and evil, and because of that, if you do actually dance on someone's grave, it's so horrifying that people can't help but click and watch.
Oh no. There's actually a challenge of dancing on people's graves? What the fuck? What is going on with people?
And it didn't take long for this to become a trend on TikTok, where you literally go to a graveyard and just dance on people's graves.
Again, what is with this generation? And why are people so freaking psycho that they just don't care about what is going to happen or why something is wrong?
Some kids even did dance routines while others just danced however they felt like. No matter what, it was incredibly poor taste, and a true warning sign about the dangers of TikTok, making you realize just how far people will go for clout and any source of fame, even if it's only for 5 seconds and people hate you, just to feel like you're getting attention and people notice you, to stand out from the rest, without doing any real hard work or having any real talent. As TikTok isn't designed for these things, it's simply designed for the most shocking things possible so that you can't help but keep watching.
That's true. Because that's what goes viral, is the outlandish, outrageous videos, the videos with the inspirational quotes, or the videos with the outlandish activities.
Whether it be sleeping with 1,000 people in a day or dancing on people's graves, getting the reaction is all that matters to these people.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, it kinda needs some serious addressing here. Someone even commented on one of these videos, imagine being at a funeral mourning the loss of a loved one, and then out of nowhere, a teenager starts doing the orange justice.
That would be a slap-worthy offense. I'm sorry. If you're gonna do that in the presence of anybody with any ounce of respect for anything, you're gonna get slapped.
Even worse was that one clip included what seemed to be a mother and her kids, or an adult with kids under her care, dancing on top of a headstone in some sad little pecking dance, while the kids follow her lead on the graves nearby. It's a truly dystopian, nightmarish picture of humanity, and when you watch that, it makes you just want to completely destroy TikTok forever.
It really does. Like, the amount of just vapidity, stupidity, just, like, as I said, I do not miss my TikTok account at all.
One of the most disturbing trends, in the sense of us being in a complete clown world, was the ice cream licking challenge. Now, as we saw earlier, TikTok challenges can be devastating for companies, as they have to pull off all their products. But with this challenge, the companies had no idea what was really going on, and it's completely disgusting. The challenge originally started when this lady entered a store taking a tub of ice cream out of the fridge, opening it up and licking the top layer.
Yeah, that was really gross. And it wasn't it like during COVID or just before COVID that she did this? I'm pretty sure it was, if I remember correctly.
Proudly doing this, taking back power from capitalism. She then put the lid back on and put it back in the refrigerator. And because of her stand, this unfortunately became a new trend on TikTok, with many doing the same, many being adults.
Yeah. Grown ass people licking unpurchased food at the grocery store and then putting it back in the freezer. And just like, down with capitalism. Yeah, like, I'm sorry, even if you are a communist and you do not think that capitalism is a good system, like, have the decency for other people to not put your mouth on things that you're not planning on purchasing. Like, I'm sorry.
Imagine some people actually buying this ice cream after it's been licked with. After this, companies had to dump all of their product because no one knew which tubs had actually been tampered with. And if it's going to attack capitalism, I guess it kind of works, but really just at the cost of the consumer.
But it doesn't, though. It, like, all it does is shit on the consumer, the little man. It doesn't do any good to... Like, it doesn't affect the company at all.
Bluebell was hit the worst, as more and more people kept this trend going by posting themselves licking the Bluebell ice cream and putting it back on the shelves.
Lick it. Oh, you foul. Put it back.
Oh, that's... And they're like, lick it. Oh, you're foul. Well, fuck you.
Put it back. Oh, you...
Bluebell literally had to ask the police to get involved, as it was actual food tampering. Eventually and satisfyingly, the police did find the original culprits because, surprise surprise, they posted themselves on TikTok. The case against them was then handed over to a juvenile court because the lady was only a minor.
Still, not a lady. Ladies don't lick fucking shit and put it back. That's like going up and taking a big ass bite out of an apple in the grocery store and then putting the apple that you bit back in the bin with all the other apples and walking away. Like, no, that's disgusting.
But others who followed suit could land themselves a $10,000 fine or 2 to 20 years of prison time.
Good.
It's a trending challenge on the social media app TikTok called Devious Licks.
Well, that's a stupid name. And whoever came up with that name should be also sent to jail.
A lick is slang for stealing something and getting away with it.
The devious lick trend is not exactly what it sounds like. It's a challenge in which you either steal something or vandalize something and then post your act on what you stole on TikTok.
Yes, of course. Post your crimes. Post your crimes on TikTok while you do them. It's a brilliant strategy. And then wonder how come you're going to jail with, like, an open and shut case.
And yes, is it stupid as it sounds? Something that was only aided in California, where no criminal charges would be pressed, on shoplifters stealing things less than $900. Mixed in with this TikTok trend, and it ended up as you'd expect. And soon as teenagers started seeing these trends online, they wouldn't just steal from shops, but also from schools. Just random things like soap dispensers, urinals, and fire extinguishers were
soap dispensers, urinals, and fire extinguishers. Why? What are you gonna do with a urinal, dude? Like, seriously, what the fuck?
Were stolen in schools. People across America were telling all these stories of their classrooms, bathrooms, and school halls being vandalized, with posters being torn down and chairs and tables broken.
Kids are running home telling their parents about what the devious lick is doing to their campus, which also includes restroom availability issues.
This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. I don't care how undeveloped your prefrontal cortex is. When I was a teenager, nobody was stealing a toilet. What the hell is going on here?
Taina Maya with Killeen ISD says at last count, 123 soap dispensers have been taken off wall mounts at campuses across the district. And that's not all kids are doing.
Even destroying or trying and attempting to destroy bathroom stall doors.
One student said their school decided to close their bathrooms and would only allow one bathroom for each gender to be open so it could be monitored.
That is nuts. One bathroom for the entire school per gender. Oh my god, could you imagine? Could you imagine the lineup? The lineup in at each bathroom.
Participating in the trend still required that you had to post what you stole, and so it became very easy to actually find out who these people were. It didn't take long for TikTok to completely ban this trend and remove all content related to it, instead redirecting any searches for this trend to their guidelines instead. But the problems with trends like this, especially with those laws like mentioned in California, is that there doesn't seem to be any real punishment for any of this stuff. In fact, it's pretty much only reward as you get more fame and attention for doing so.
And that's the biggest problem is you're not getting punished for most of this behavior. And it's so obnoxious that people can't look away from it. So you get views and other idiots will like it. And therefore you will it will start a snowball effect, and then you're gonna go viral.
All with very little repercussions.
Stupid.
Now there's just an endless list of these sorts of trends on TikTok, making it clear the lengths people will go to just for fame. But the TikTok ban isn't just about these trends. The real question is whether a foreign adversary changing its algorithms to specifically target the youth in America is a good thing to continue to foster in your own country. People have already clearly seen by now how different the Chinese version of TikTok is to the US's, and how the algorithms in China are there to try to help the population, whereas the ones in the US seem to degrade the population.
Well, it's not just that. It's the Chinese government is a lot more in control of what the Chinese population views. So of course it wants its citizenry to be intelligent, because the stupider it is, then the more risk there is of somebody coming in and taking over. So of course they want their population to be smart.
Well, you know the difference between the way our TikTok works and the Chinese version of it works?
Well, I know they don't let them on it very much, if at all.
They don't let them on it after 10
Holy shit, he had Dr. Phil on? That's crazy.
p.m. and they hide it. Well, you know the difference between the way our TikTok works and the Chinese version of it works?
Well, I know they don't let them on it very much, if at all.
They don't let them on it after 10 p.m. and they highlight science innovation, martial arts, athletic achievements. They highlight all these very positive things.
Again, they want their population to be smart. That's not really a surprise.
That's what their algorithm promotes. Promotes all these very positive things. Suppresses all the other stuff, even deletes it and gets rid of it. They don't want any social contagions entering into their children. But on our side, it encourages that. It encourages the wackiest behavior. If you're a guy with a mustache and red nails and you're saying, I'm going to take all your kids, that guy is going to get massive traction on TikTok. Yeah. He's going to be everywhere. Your kids are all going to be trans, and there's nothing you can do about it. The outrage, that's a 30 million view video. And then they monetize that. And then other people recognize that that's a successful pattern, just like those dorks that sit in the fake jet seats. Then they start doing it too. Then they start whatever I got to do to get the kind of attention that this person's getting. Okay, wear nails, wear a wig, wear this. There's probably fake trans influencers.
Oh, probably. Oh, Joe, I would say for sure that there are. I would absolutely say that there are fake trans influencers.
There's people saying outrageous things specifically just to attract the algorithm.
By this point in 2025, TikTok has become so ingrained in society that it seems like the genie is now already out of the bottle. In America alone, 170 million citizens use TikTok, and yet the platform running it, ByteDance, is a seriously questionable company that we've spoken about many times on this channel before. So it's not really much of a surprise that the US government is now in unison to ban TikTok completely. And having seen the power of these trends alone in causing harm, what could China do if it really intended to damage society in the US directly? It's for these reasons the Supreme Court has unanimously ruled in favor of a TikTok ban, citing national security concerns. And yet ByteDance never chose to sell TikTok. The ultimatum was either to ban TikTok completely, or ByteDance would have to sell TikTok. And yet the company chose never to sell TikTok, even though they'd make billions from doing so. Maybe because of the CCP's interests, but who knows. However, the real question is whether this ban will actually happen or not. Trump has put a temporary halt on the ban, even though originally he was the one who wanted to ban it in the first place. Yeah. So it is really uncertain whether this ban will actually take place or not. Though one thing is for sure, that chasing clout through these dumb and disturbing trends has to stop no matter what.
Yes, it does. The big problem is that Trump gets his stuff pushed, his message pushed on TikTok. So for him, it's not necessarily advantageous for TikTok to get banned. Because I'm not saying that he cares about his TikTok account. I'm saying that he cares about the he cares about how his message gets disseminated. And TikTok is a big way that happens. So I think Trump is a little bit more hesitant than he wants to admit about getting rid of TikTok. So, but that's my humble opinion on that. Let's see here. Because I think that as much as he wants to protect the citizenry, and I do believe that he does, he also is a businessman and cares about his message and his brand. And TikTok is a big part of pushing that message and that brand.
I'm depressed.
You're depressed? Why?
Well, now I have to take your Camelback.
What,
Mine, I just discovered, leaked all over everything, including my firearms license.
Oh no.
So luckily, that's why the hairdryer was going. I did the old hairdryer technique.
Oh, is that what that noise was?
Yeah, I just saved a large portion of my income.
I was just like, are you vacuuming? That's what I was.
I just discovered. I went to grab my Camelback and I realized the whole bottom was soaked. Yeah, it finally burst.
You're gonna have to wash mine though. I think.
Well, if it was sealed, it might be okay, but I'll check it out.
Okay.
But no. Yeah, it smells fine.
So apparently, some lady was arrested for farting. I don't know anything about this. We are going to learn about it right now. Charlie has the video, the scoop on it. So let's take a look here and see what he has to say.
There's many different kinds of crime. Comes in all shapes and sizes, like animal crackers. You have your serious crimes, like murder and cheating in Marvel Rivals.
Cheating in Marvel Rivals.
Your not so serious crime, like smoking weed or crossing the street at a not specified cross.
You mean
And then you
jaywalking?
have your unforgivable Omega-level mutant crimes, like what I just learned about last night that happened in the UK. This is the curious case of the evil cyber farter.
Uh-oh. Wait, she didn't even fart in person? She farted on the internet? How do you fart on the internet?
Yeah, it's a real thing. This lady got arrested for cyber farting, and it's quite a fascinating deep dive. UK woman gets 12-month term for cyber farting at X.
How the fuck do you cyber fart? Did she fart at a camera or at a microphone? Like what? How? I don't even understand how this works.
What an interesting night we're having already. What? What does that even mean?
Thank you, Charlie. Charlie's just as confused as I am.
It's the first ever case of cyber farting. That's the actual term they're calling it. That's not like a meme or anything. It's in the Economic Times.
Cyber farting isn't actually a thing. And leave it to the UK police to come up with something absolutely ridiculous to charge
how do you
somebody
even
with.
cyber fart? And second of all, why would it be a criminal case of cyber farting? 25-year-old woman in the UK has pled guilty in a case described as the first of its kind involving cyber farting.
Did you fart at the camera? Yeah. Why am I even here? You know what I mean? Like, ma'am, did you in fact emit gas from your ass at the microphone and webcam? Yes, Your Honor.
The woman, Rhiannon Evans, man, I can't read. Watching the Soup Bandit and the way that she speaks English has actually deteriorated my frontal lobe here. I'm struggling. Wow. Rhiannon... I know I've gone illiterate. Fuck.
Poor Charlie, he can't read.
She hit me with the stupid neurons. They were contagious. Rhiannon Evans was ordered to pay nearly €300 after admitting to sending videos of herself passing gas to her ex-boyfriend's partner. No.
Wait. She was... Oh my god, I was right. She was fucking farting at the webcam. And she was recording it. And then she was sending it to her ex's new partner. Dude, just let him go. Just let him go, honey. It's not worth the fart videos.
No, to her, I can't read. To her boyfriend's ex-partner.
Wait, it wasn't even... Oh, it was her boyfriend's ex. That's even weirder. So it was her current boyfriend's ex. So she's taking the time to send videos of herself. Oh my god, lady.
Court also sentenced Evans to a 12-month community order along with a 2-year restraining order. Additionally, she must attend 15 rehabilitation sessions and observe a 60-day alcohol abstinence period.
What are you in rehab for? Well, when I get drunk, I send fart videos to people. Oh my lord.
The incident occurred over the Christmas and New Year period, starting on December 22nd, continuing through the 1st.
Merry Christmas. This is making me laugh far too hard. I apparently have lost all of my maturity.
Evans sent multiple videos to Deborah. I'm not gonna try. I'm interrupting this life-changing broadcast to bring you an important announcement. Our soap is fully restocked. Cheeky, no very fucking. You'll probably be paying more for shipping than you want. But anyway, Cheeky's fully restocked. Use Cheeky.com for the best bars of soap ever made. So it's because she broke wind and sent it to this lady unsolicited?
Yes.
So I guess like it's more of like a harassment charge, not so much like the farting wasn't really the issue, I don't think. I guess it was the harassment.
I would hope so. Because otherwise there's a whole category on a whole bunch of sites that people would need to be arrested for.
I don't know. What an interesting case. Didn't you fart under oath in court? Man, this is how rumors start. No, brother. I didn't fart in court. When I went to court in the Carl Jobst versus Billy Mitchell lawsuit, Billy Mitchell's team used my fart as evidence.
That's right, they did. That's right, they did.
I was not in there passing gas. So if you look into the case and you go to the Billy Mitchell team, you will see actual ass. It was on day 6 of the trial when I was called in as a witness. Still such a badass picture.
That's too funny. That is too funny.
But yeah, this is entered into the official evidence from Billy Mitchell's team. I did not fart in court. His team submitted it for some reason. The videos caused her distress and anxiety, leading her to contact the police. Prosecutor Diane Williams stated that the videos were considered indecent or grossly offensive.
Well, I don't know if I'd say grossly offensive, but I would be annoyed if somebody kept sending me videos of themselves farting. I'd be like, dude, what the hell is the matter with you? Why do you have, like, nothing better to do with your life? Stop it.
Describing one of the clips, she said, she proceeds to pass gas by placing the camera on her bottom and passing the gas. Over a span of days, Evans sent multiple similar videos, each showing her smiling at the camera while passing wind.
So she smiled at you while she did it? Okay, that's also creepy.
Evans' attorney, Harriet Gorst,
Gorst? Harriet Gorst?
Man, that's some goofy shit. Harriet Gorst attributed the incident to ongoing issues between Evans' partner and her regarding child contact. Gorst stated at the time she sent these videos she had some drinks and she sent them, understanding now this has caused the victim some distress.
You didn't think it would cause the victim distress? What? Why? Why would you not go, maybe showing my ass and farting at somebody that's... Like, I wouldn't even do that to somebody that was my partner. I would... I maybe show them my ass, but not fart at them. Like, that's kind of weird. I don't know if I'd... That's a little bit disrespectful to me. How could you not go... How could you not, like, drunk or not, be like, I'm not gonna do that?
She sent them without malicious intent. However, the prosecution disagreed, with Williams stating, it was purely malicious. She was smirking throughout, found it hilarious, but the victim didn't. Why? Why wouldn't she find that hilarious? It's a fart.
Well, because most people are not 12-year-old boys, but I apparently also am a 12-year-old boy because I find this funny.
It is inherently silly. Like, yeah, it's weird to just get sent one by someone you don't really know and don't really like. But I gotta be honest, I don't know if it's criminal. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know if it's criminal either. It's weird, but I don't know if it's criminal.
You hear about the plant in Sydney that reeks of socks and garbage that had 3-hour-long lines of people coming to smell it? Why? No. Why? Why is that like an event people would want to line up for to smell stink?
That's gross.
In a victim impact statement, she expressed her desire to feel safe in my home.
A victim impact statement for a fart?
I can't sleep with the flatulence boogeyman lurking. via cyberspace. I feel jeopardized. The court ordered Evans to pay €100 in compensation and then €200 in court costs.
That's... At least it's not, like, super expensive, her court costs.
She must also complete 15 rehab sessions and abstain from alcohol for 2 months. Additionally, a 2-year restraining order prevents Evans from contacting her. Imagine going to rehab for cyber farting.
Yeah. That is kind of funny. Why are you here? Oh, well, I'm a heroin addict and I've lost my kids and my house and everything. Why are you here? Oh, well, I got a little tipsy and sent some fart videos to my boyfriend's ex.
That's almost insulting to the whole idea of rehabilitation.
It really
Imagine
is.
that being on your record. Yeah. She's gonna have a hard time finding employment. The cyber farter is gonna brand her for life. A damn shame. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time, as they say. Look at the photo of the cyber farter. She looks guilty.
It's just too funny. That's just too funny.
Is it in this article or it's a different article? Let me see. 25-year-old learns fate in first ever fart
We will leave
selfie
no
case.
stone unturned until the people responsible are caught.
This is the latest from the newsroom. The Premier of New South Wales.
Okay, here. Is this her? Is that the cyber farter?
Rihanna was arrested at her home in Carnarvon and will be sentenced this week.
That's so crazy to me. Imagine wasting police resources to go catch the cyber farter.
I know. Like, what kind of stupid taxpayer bullshit? Let's dump all of our money and resources into finding somebody who sent fart videos to somebody else. Like, holy shit, that's pathetic. That is so pathetic. I almost feel sorry for her, for the cyber farter. Hold on a second. I need to put my earbuds in the case and repair them because they are crackling. But yeah, that's just silly. That's just absolutely silly. That's better. Okay, let's take a look at Brandon Herrera's video about why we shouldn't abolish the ATF yet. And of course, I'm sure Brandon will have something funny to say about it, because he always has a silly take on things. So let's see here.
Before you get your pitchforks out, just hear me out. I know with a title like that, no matter what I say in this video, the comments are going to be full of angry window lickers who are mad at me for this take because they don't have the attention span to listen to what the I am actually trying to say in this video. So to help with that, boom. Hopefully that helps. Now maybe Gen Z is paying attention.
Well, the flashing video game.
So to completely avoid any confusion, let me start with this. I believe in the Second Amendment. Full stop. No but anything. I believe gun laws are infringements, and I support abolishing the ATF. In fact, I have literally testified in congressional field hearings in favor of bills to end the ATF.
Yep, he has. And I remember on Twitter about the push for making him the ATF director.
You will not find a much more staunch pro-gun person than me. But when it comes to abolishing the ATF, now that there's actually a bill in the House to do it, and it's gaining some momentum with an administration that's actually willing to consider it, I think we need to be smart about the way we do it.
Because I fully believe we have a unique opportunity here to do something amazing to protect gun rights in America for generations to come. And frankly, I'm not sure when's the next time we'll have an opportunity to do this. I've been giving this a lot of thought lately since Trump took office, and that's why I'm asking you guys to just hear me out, keep an open mind, and then tell me whether or not you agree or disagree with me down in the comments.
Okay. So he's gonna present a thesis, and then we can figure out if we agree with it. I like that
Also,
idea.
if you can't tell by now, this is gonna be one of those hardcore rant videos, so I don't know, buckle the fuck up. So when people say they want to abolish the ATF, what they're probably thinking is a world where we do away with things like tax stamps. Nobody's enforcing things like the NFA so that, civilians can own suppressors and post-86 machine guns without SOTs or any of the stamps and stuff. Where we have more of this and less of this. And most importantly, a world where we don't have renegade bureaucrats in an unconstitutional agency snapping their fingers and deciding and declaring millions of law-abiding Americans felons overnight.
Well, okay, I like that idea. I like the fact, I like the concept of getting rid of an organization that does just exactly that to millions of law-abiding citizens.
Like we've seen several times before with the arm brace rule or the 80% receiver rule. Well, here's the problem that I'm worried about. Those individual laws that the ATF is tasked with enforcing, things like the Gun Control Act of 1968, the National Firearms Act of 1934, or even the Brady Bill of 93. They were constitutionally passed bills that were voted on and passed in both the House and the Senate, and then moved on to the desk of the president where it was then signed.
Okay. Now, what are the what is the substance of these acts?
Do I think they're constitutional? No, absolutely not. And I hope they get challenged in court. But the fact is, currently, they are laws. All the ones I just listed, by the way, are what I think are the most egregious gun restrictions in the last 100 years. I didn't include the Clinton assault weapons ban of 94, but that's because that expired. And every single one of them, I might add, were passed when Democrats were in power. Which is one of the many reasons that when I hear people say, oh, Democrats or Republicans are just as bad on guns, it makes me want to put my head through a fucking wall.
I can understand why, because as somebody from the outside of the United States, I have watched the back and forth on this, and it is quite frustrating.
And before I hear anybody say, oh, but Ronald Reagan, the actor? What you're referring to is the Hughes Amendment, which was an amendment attached to a bill called the Firearm Owners Protection Act of 1986, which I think was a good bill, with the exception of one shitty provision attached called the Hughes Amendment, which was submitted by, you guessed it, Congressman William Hughes, a New Jersey Democrat. Anyhow, the reason I bring this up, let's say we can wave a magic wand and get rid of the ATF.
And I hope it happens.
Which, if it was ever gonna happen, I feel like this next 2, possibly 4 years is the time to do it. I mean, hell, Trump even promised to fire ATF Director Stephen Dettelbach on day one. Didn't get the chance, because Stephen Dettelbach actually resigned just days before Trump took office.
That's funny. You can't fire me, I quit. That's hilarious.
Good riddance. Another in a long line of ATF directors with no actual knowledge of firearms. Not even the bare minimum knowledge of firearm technology or gunsmithing. Like one can learn from sdi.edu. But just to add insult to injury, as a retirement gift, his coworkers gave him an 80% AR lower, bragging about how untraceable it is.
Oh. Okay.
So this does not need to be traced.
Okay. This is after the guy spent the last few years trying to shut down businesses and throw law-abiding citizens in jail for owning one. This is like the director of the DEA getting a fucking 8-ball of cocaine as a retirement gift. But
It really is. It really here's this untraceable gun. Oh, by the way, also here's this hooker and this 8-ball of coke.
yeah, whatever. So it's the beginning of 2025 and everybody's kind of looking for a fresh start. Maybe you're looking to eat better, hit the gym more, lose a little weight. I'm looking to do all 3 of those things. But we all have bad habits you want to stop and good ones you want to start. This could be the PDS Act. They don't go anywhere just because the agency, let's say we succeed and abolish the ATF. Those laws I mentioned earlier, the NFA, the GCA, all that, those are still laws that are in effect.
Yep. Just because the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Administration is gone doesn't mean that the DEA doesn't exist and the CIA doesn't exist and the FBI doesn't exist and all those
They
other
don't go
branches
anywhere
don't
just
exist.
because the agency currently tasked with enforcing them goes away. Which leads to this major point. If the ATF disappears tomorrow before the proper groundwork is laid, the responsibility of enforcing those laws goes into the hands of bigger, better funded agencies with more staff, such as the FBI or the Department of Justice.
Oh, not good.
The ATF already operates under the Department of Justice, the DOJ, so this is like the logical step. If you're not tracking yet, let me give you some scale for what that means. Think about how much you hear about the ATF harassing people, flashbanging families of gun owners in no-knock raids, going after mom-and-pop FFLs for paperwork errors, so on. Right now, the annual budget of the ATF is about $1.6 billion. Now let's compare that to the FBI, who has an annual operating budget of around $11 billion.
Holy shit. The FBI has an operating budget of around $11 billion? That is a lot of money.
And finally, the DOJ, which in total has about $38 billion. Do you see yet why I'm trying to bring attention to this? Now, the ATF currently employs about 5,200 people full-time. The FBI has 37,000. The DOJ, a whopping total of about 115,000.
Holy shit.
Are you starting to pick up what I am putting down here?
It's... The ATF is tiny. The ATF is fucking tiny. Why is it even still a thing?
If we're not smart about the way we do this, we put the enforcement of all current gun laws on the books in the hands of people who are better equipped and better funded to fuck with you. Which leads me to my second major point. If we had an actual pro-gun ATF director who's willing to tear that agency apart, we could have that organization ready to be dissolved in less than a year. And let me tell you some of the ways that can be done. By the way, this is not just one big pitch to put me in as ATF director. Although after I was nominated on RFK's website, I did say I was, and still am, serious about taking the position if it was ever offered. We did have some fun with it by using the Brandon Herrera for ATF t-shirts over at Bunker, really to do the opposite of what the ATF does, and
That would be so fucking cool if Brandon got a chance to be even nominated as the ATF director.
we're raising money for no-kill dog shelters here in San Antonio. So if you want to check them out, links are still in the description. Let's help some doggos. But the point being, this isn't about me. Not to be too crass about it, but frankly, I don't care who gets the position as long as they are rabidly pro-Second Amendment and are willing to go in and do what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And if somehow the Trump transition team is listening, please keep some of these ideas in mind. If you want to know what the gun industry and gun community wants, it's this. This is the ultimate goal. The finals... The big plan. All jokes aside, though, let's jump into it. First off, finally walk back any and all Obama and Biden era ATF restrictions on arm braces, 80% receivers, forced reset triggers, all of it. This one is just a no-brainer and can literally be done day one with the right preparation. Yeah. Now it's time to go on the offensive, something we rarely get to do in the gun rights world. Let's look in the import-export space. Remember when the Obama administration labeled 5.45 ammo as armor-piercing pistol ammo?
I do. And I'm not even a gun person. I remember that.
And then the price jumped up from 14 cents a round to 50 cents a round? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we go after stuff like that. Open back up the floodgates on imports. Make new determinations on what is demilled when it comes to parts kits. No more of the mandatory torch cut in 3 pieces bullshit. Back to single saw cuts like was allowed for decades. Target the sporting clause determinations and roll back stupid regulations that caused the issues, like, for example, banning the imports of the Beretta shotguns recently. Now, if you're not in the industry, all this stuff might sound kind of pedantic, but you have no idea how much stuff like this will help the firearm market. And more importantly, all of this can be done fairly quickly by putting the right people in charge of the ATF.
That's true. If you have the right people in charge of any organization, it can work properly. Problem is that finding the right people is the problem.
All in the meantime, any ATF agent that isn't currently working on anti-cartel, legit border operations, that sort of stuff, now has one mission: approving tax stamps and transfers. But now here comes probably my favorite part, and the one that I think will have the most permanent impact if it's done correctly. A new pro-gun ATF could actually work directly with gun policy groups such as FPC, NAGR, GOA, several of whom I actually consulted before making this video, by the way.
That would make sense. Because Brandon, when it comes to this stuff, really doesn't pull information out of his ass. He knows what he's talking about.
And take cases where the ATF is being sued for overstepping and agree with them on record in court. I'll start telling them to sue the ATF over things like arresting someone over unlawful possession of suppressors or SBRs. Sue them on the grounds that because there's millions of those in circulation in the United States, they fall under the Supreme Court's definition of in common use and are therefore legally protected by the Second Amendment.
There you go. That's a good argument. That's a very, very good argument. I didn't even know about that argument about in common use.
Bingo. You have now just used the ATF and the courts to de facto legalize suppressors and SBRs. All sorts of stuff, really, just by using the very definitions laid out already by the Supreme Court, which, by the way, is currently stacked 6-3 pro-gun. The amount of legal precedent you could set here would take the anti-gun crowd decades to try to undo.
And I'm not sure if they would be able to undo it because of how how most Americans are pro-gun at the very least and own a gun at most.
And these are just a few ideas. Believe me, I have pages of notes on this stuff. Specific regulations and restrictions that I think are a prime target. Once all that's done, the ATF director could easily just resign and ask President Trump's help to disband the agency entirely. To quote a popular piece of modern media,
"Watch the sunrise on a grateful universe."
But to move on before I make this a fucking 30-minute rant video, do I think this will happen? Well, I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. It's optimistic thinking.
Yeah, even with Trump in power and with the Supreme Court as stacked pro-gun as it is, it's still a pretty optimistic thought process.
But I will say this is the goal that I think the gun community should be pushing for. What we need to be doing right now is urging Trump and the transition team to select a pro-Second Amendment ATF director. Again, I don't give a shit if it's me. I just want them to be rabidly pro-gun and willing to do the things necessary. I heard Blake Masters' name tossed in there. I supported him in his race. He would be an awesome pick as long as he's willing to do aggressive shit like this.
Which I'm not familiar with Blake Masters, so I honestly couldn't answer whether or not he would be good.
On top of that, we need to continue to push our elected representatives to push for and vote yes on bills that will start rolling back some of these gun restrictions. If we can do both of those things, then abolishing the ATF might just be the beautiful future we all hoped it would be. Sorry if this video was a little bit of a break from the norm. I know some of you guys like it when I get more serious with this and do like actual legal breakdowns and stuff like that. Some of you fucking hate it. But I do think it's important to do every now and again, because there is that side of the gun community where, you know, if we want to continue to enjoy guns and we want to be able to pass that along for generations to come so our children's children enjoy the same freedoms that we do, this stuff's important. And again, you don't have to agree with me. If you disagree, I'm sure by now you've already let me know down in the comments. I'm sure the discourse there will be, well, it will be. But try to be polite, guys. We're all on the same side. We just might have different ideas on how to get there.
I like that. I like that. We're all on the same side. We just have different ideas on how to get there. I really like that. So that's a very interesting, a very good take on that. And I'm not really, as I said, I'm not as in, like, I have family members that are into guns and had guns or had guns. So I know about guns a little bit. But Brandon always breaks things down in a very interesting, good, solid way. So I thought we would watch that and see what he had to say before we did the what's it called? Before we started with the Bret Cooper video. I am going to quickly go to the washroom. So share the stream while I'm gone. Let's get some more people in here. And I will be right back. Okay. Let's see here. Let us go over to our video about, let's go to Bret Cooper's video. Let's talk about right-wing cancel culture. Now, I watched this already, and I am not entirely sure how I feel about Bret Cooper. She's interesting, but I really don't know how I feel about her
left that we have all been
yet.
canceled and ridiculed.
So let's take, she really feels just like another roaming millennial, another like something like that. And I'm really not, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. So we're going to, why is,
Take a look at the new shoe on head.
yeah, pretty much.
It's the new shoe on millennial.
The new shoe on millennial. Yeah, pretty much. So here we go. Let's take a look at this.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Bret Cooper Show. I am so happy that you guys found me over here on this new channel. I am so excited to start this new chapter with you guys. We have been hard at work behind the scenes, literally boots on the ground, and my...
Literally boots on the ground. Oh my god. Yeah, She is literally shoe on millennial, the way she's talking. It's so frustrating to listen
my
to.
80-year-old neighborhood grandpa putting shiplap up on the ceilings to cover up my 90s popcorn ceilings that I thought you guys would not find aesthetically pleasing on a set. We're literally in a room at
Oh my god, stop saying literally. You're literally annoying me. And I say literally a lot, but not like that.
House, we put this all together. Anyway, I am so excited to bring this new show to you and show you guys what we have been working on. So my goal with this new show is to foster understanding, to go deeper and extract substance in the stories and issues that matter most to us, the issues that impact us on a daily personal basis. And I have always said this, but I want to reiterate it, that I do not take for granted the fact that you guys take hours out of your busy lives to watch my videos, and I want to make sure that every single second of that time matters. I want to make sure that every single video I put out leaves you feeling more confident or empowered or smarter or more inquisitive about the world. And so
you do. You want to make people feel more inquisitive about the world. I did not feel more inquisitive about the world when I watched this video. I felt very much like you were a shill for Mark Zuckerberg and basically the industry. I felt like you were just basically shilling for all the industry leaders.
And so because of that, we are going to be doing less frequent episodes. We're not going to be chasing the news cycle as much. I want to make sure that every single episode is intentional. This first season, in my eyes, is all about understanding where we've come from, where we're heading, and trying to fix the obvious disconnect between the generations, between values, and so much more. So
fix the disconnect between the generations. You don't have small goals at all, do you there, Miss Cooper?
I hope you are ready for even more hard truths, deeper dives than we have ever gone before, insightful interviews, and of course, lots of laughter and levity, because it would not be a Bret Cooper production if we were not having fun through it all. But for this first episode of season 1 of The Bret Cooper Show, I thought that we could just keep it simple and keep it between us. And I realized I just said keep it simple, but this episode...
Keep it between us. Dude. This is a YouTube channel. What do you mean keep it between us? I'm confused. I missed that earlier today. Keep it simple and keep it between us. Then unlist the video? I don't know.
Episode kind of is not simple at all. It actually
or are you trying to make this seem like an intimate setting?
Get me into trouble, but we do need to talk about how the right runs the risk of literally losing everything that we've worked for if we continue down a path of mimicking the left's toxicity. AKA, we need to talk about right-wing cancel culture.
AKA, we need to talk about... That's not how you use AKA. That's not how you use that.
Subscribe to this new YouTube channel, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and of course, ring that notification bell to stay up to date on all new episodes of The Bret Cooper Show. And if you guys want even more content and ad-free episodes, click the link in the description below to check out my new subscriber-only platform. There'll be lots of information below. Would love for you guys to check it out. But we have far more pressing matters to attend to. All right, so I've been thinking about this topic since New Year's Eve, and I've known that I want to cover this on my first episode because it just keeps coming up. And
Because even though I left the Ben Shapiro show, I technically have been canceled by being replaced by my best friend. And having my show get a lot less views.
It specifically came up on New Year's Eve after the actress and comedian Whitney Cummings did a set on CNN's New Year's Eve show. And if you missed it, just take a look.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's... Oh, God. Andy just gave me a very scary look. No! I thought being a mom would mean that less people will want to come see me. I'm now playing, like 3,000 seat theater, which is about the viewership of CNN these days.
I mean, it's so...
Oh, shit. So Whitney Cummings apparently has gone right wing because she was like super duper like, what? Oh.
So great. Like, this entire set, she is basically shocked they have not cut her off. You can tell that she's uncomfortable. She's, like, very tentative. She's taking a risk, making all of these jokes that are incredibly honest. They're incredibly genuine and insightful about...
They were genuine and insightful jokes? I don't know. They were okay. Like, they weren't super hilarious. Like, they made me, I went, ha! It wasn't, like,
about the state of our world and the state of
side-splitting.
politics. And people loved it. Like, she went on for like 5 minutes and everybody was, again, literally in shock that she was not cut off. And of course, she immediately went viral on X. Some people had never heard of her before. They were so excited to find, another brave and honest comedian who was willing to push boundaries and make these kinds of very, relevant jokes. But what makes the story interesting is that people turned on her as quickly as they fell for her because they realized that 5 years ago when COVID was raging, she used to be very pro-vaccine and that she...
Yeah, you know what? It's okay to be pro-vaccine. You can be pro-vaccine without being pro-COVID vaccine.
And also, COVID's 5 years ago. Let's go past that now.
Exactly. Well, people are wanting to cancel Whitney Cummings because she was pro-COVID vaccine.
Yeah, because these people are stupid. Why? Because you got a guy with half a brain quoting Andrew Wakefield.
Yeah. But like, and Bret Cooper carries on to say, like, well, now she's not pro-vaccine. And like, it's almost like vaccines are bad.
That's what the whole trend is, thanks to the COVID idiots. That's what it's become.
And it's like,
Wakefield is winning.
yeah,
Dream is coming true.
yeah, Wakefield is winning, and now we have people getting measles and polio. Like, I'm waiting to hear for a polio returning.
Even had vaccine mandates for some of her live shows during that 2020-2021 period. And you have some tweets here. You can see her talking about the vaccine, saying that, God, we need a vaccine. Can we make a vaccine now? Go, we need a vaccine. Chop, chop on that vaccine. Like, she was tweeting about this constantly. And immediately, people on X started calling her out. They were calling her a grifter and a fraud, saying that she was an opportunist, that she was taking advantage of this time in culture when things were shifting to the right to try to make a name for herself. They literally lost their damn minds. And again,
a little bit. I'm sorry, any comedian that doesn't tailor their jokes to how society is kind of skewing is a bad comedian. So you either, like, adapt your jokes or you fucking die. Adapt or die.
Again, this happened in a matter of hours. I watched her videos go viral. I was like, man, this girl is so cool. I've seen her on TV. And then suddenly everybody hated her. And it makes no sense to me. Like, they were angry that she had not issued a formal apology before getting up and doing a comedy set. Like, they were angry.
Formal apology for being pro-vaccine. Imagine that. Imagine people wanting that.
Agree that her track record wasn't perfect. Like, guys, nobody in the world has a perfect track record. And more than anything, I think that we should focus on their actions.
The fact that Bret Cooper is sitting here going, nobody in the world has a perfect track record in reference to being pro-vaccine. Guys, nobody's perfect. I know she's pro-vaccine, but nobody's perfect. And I know she's talking about the COVID vaccine, but it can be extended to so many vaccines. And that is what is scary about this.
That's how I evaluate everything in my life, whether it is a politician or my meat delivery service, which is why I trust Good Ranchers. Guys, did you know that 85% quality meat are the household staples that Alex in their order for an entire year? Plus, if you use my code, additional $25 off. It has seriously never been easier to prioritize about COVID and everything that make things more convenient and support a company that actually follows through on their word. And I understand that people are upset because being angry about COVID and everything that happened during that fever dream of a couple of years, it's understandable. Awful things happened. I mean, the lockdowns, the vaccines, the being separated from our families, kids being...
Yes, the vaccines. Those were awful. I'm sorry. I look at the COVID vaccine like the flu shot. If you want it, go get it, okay? If you don't want it, you shouldn't be ostracized. But to treat it like it's some fucking, I don't know, brain slug injection, that means you have a brain slug. I'm sorry. I don't care. Hate me, don't, whatever. I just don't, if you don't want the COVID shot, don't fucking take it.
Being kept out of school, it was a travesty. But we have moved on from that, and also we need to be real.
Kept
because
out of school in the lockdowns, that was bad. But you can't sit here and be like, "Oh, the vaccine was terrible." No, the way the vaccine was deployed was terrible. The way the information about the vaccines was disseminated was terrible. The way that we weren't allowed to talk about it was terrible. The actual product itself,
A lot of it was terrible.
was the
Depending on where you were was terrible.
yeah, it
See, that's the problem with the argument. That's the issue with the argument. Is some were bad because the whole shit was bad.
yeah.
The entire thing was bad. That's all you have to say. The whole thing was bad. But the shit before that had nothing to do with that shit being bad. So leave the shit before that alone and focus only on that. Oh, we're past that now? Okay. Well, focus on that shit still. The other stuff did not change.
Yeah.
Now, all of the bullshit from the other shit has now caused the old stuff to be doubted.
Exactly.
Now, we're gonna see more and more blind kids.
Yep, more blind kids, more blind kids, more deaf kids.
Hell, just a lot of more dead kids.
Yeah, more dead kids. Yeah.
because think about who we just elected. Think about who we spent the last couple of years propping up and encouraging and fighting for. Donald Trump. The man who first ushered in lockdowns, the man who encouraged us all to get the vaccine and is still saying how amazing it is. So we can support him and elect him and stand behind him 100% knowing that he isn't perfect, he doesn't have a perfect track record, but a comedian that has changed her mind and is now bravely going on CNN to tell some mildly based jokes. That's not appropriate.
That's not appropriate. That's not appropriate, says Bret Cooper. I'm sorry, I can't take her seriously. She just doesn't sound, she sounds so peppy and so happy and so...
She sounds like Ben Shapiro on helium.
Yes! She does sound like Ben Shapiro on helium.
Because she didn't apologize. It makes no sense. Like so many conservatives that we follow, that we all love, were misled or...
Well, I think a quarter of it is sufficient.
Yeah, it's sufficient. Because it really, the quarter of it, she hasn't even talked about anything having to do with what the cancel culture actually is.
No, and she doesn't. I watched 25 minutes of this video before, and she talks about how... Huh? So she talks about how Mark Zuckerberg went from being all at the mercy of the government and having these oppressive content regulations to now firing all the fact finders and being all, I guess, anti-woke, and how we should forgive Mark Zuckerberg. And I'm like, and nobody again is talking about how Elon Musk was a Democrat. or how Trump was a Democrat, and how we should forgive Elon Musk or Donald Trump.
It's nobody's fault for anybody. See, that's the stupid part. No one should be forgiven for anything. It's an election. Suffer.
Yeah.
Suffer for 4 years and then vote it out. That's why we have elections and not dictatorships. You bunch of morons.
That's why we have elections, not dictatorships. Exactly. So, oh shit, we're at our last video.
That's okay, because we're going to watch the Meg and you need to be out here to listen to them screaming.
Again? We're watching the Meg again.
Yes.
Yay. We watched it 2 weekends ago.
Did we really?
Yes. Yes. We have it on DVD and we watched it 2 weekends ago. Technically, you're right, which was 2 weekends ago. Which means I'm also right.
Well, you're supposed to pick the movie anyway, so hurry the hell up.
Okay.
Shut up. That's enough.
Quiet or I'll make you help me with my questing. Okay. Now let's go over here and watch this crazy video about grooming. Because what a great way to end the stream, right? Right. Let's do theater mode and play.
So you heard what happened with academics?
What
you think, bro?
What do I think?
When you okay, how about we contextualize things?
What do I think? I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think
I like freedom.
I think
I like not going to jail.
Yeah.
And this is I didn't know about DJ Academics. I didn't know at all what was going on. So let's learn.
And
I think that when I see a 1 in front of someone's age, I think other things.
Yeah. That's a fact. That is a fact.
It depends if she's 1 in 5, 105. But other than that,
100. No, that also should be illegal.
No, it's not.
That also should be illegal.
Tell you one thing. What I think about it, I think about E40. Ugh.
Tell them we're not to go.
Tell me where not to go.
It's just crazy, man. Honestly, we were on vacation. We were, I was not going to cover anything, and I think it was good because I felt like we.
After the offline, you will watch the Brandon Buckingham thing, and you can get a full spectrum as to how bad this is and why Diamond Black needs to be in fucking prison just as much as Echo.
Like we really unplugged for some time.
You should, yeah.
So now that we back, we don't cover this stuff.
Of course it is.
All right, so let's take a look at what academics actually did that got everybody to want to cancel him.
If Max said he wanted to try dude, would you let him you?
No.
Mind you, this is a 15, 14-year-old boy, and these are a bunch of grown men in their 30s talking to him.
Ew, what the hell? If you want to be gay, fine, but go be gay with people your own age. Fuck off.
About letting another man bang him. Someone who's over the age, maybe a woman. Basically, they want to let some adults, and they want to encourage them to get banged by adults.
No.
Why not?
Why not?
Yo, you can have. Wait.
If I can't f you, I'm cutting you off.
Okay, can I say something? The pause game. You know the pause game?
The actual Discord audio, I don't know if Abba and Preach talked about the Discord, show the actual Discord audio, but I know Buckingham does.
Well, they just had a 10-second clip of it. And it's pretty gross.
Oh, yeah, no. Brandon plays a long portion of it.
A long.
Pause
Okay.
game when you say hey yo or pause, and that game has been for when you hear gay stuff. It should be for this stuff, for real.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't matter for if you hear gay stuff. If it's between two consenting adults. If you hear this stuff though, that should make you go pause. Pause.
For real? That's it should be pause.
No.
Hey yo!
No. It should not be for this. Don't even conflate the two things. This is some other shit. This is we're not doing pause for pedo stuff.
No. This is what the fuck is wrong with you? Stop this
We
shit.
go in, check his criminal record, check his computer.
Yeah.
No.
So you put a pause on his whole life. Let's pause this.
No.
What are you doing? Pause. What are you doing? Why? You know, one thing I gotta say, I gotta appreciate during the pandemic, you did a thing called Disagree With Me, where you would go on Instagram and you would let fans disagree with you. All right. Sometimes I jumped on, sometimes I was not there. Right. Most of the time I was not there because you did them things randomly. So one thing I can appreciate is that one of the first questions you asked was, "How old are you?" And when the person was like, "I'm 17," bye. Click.
Yep. I did not. If I had TikTok, I did not want people who were under 18. On
You
TikTok.
just no apologies. You shut that shit off. You went like, "Hey, no, I'm not even trying to talk to you.
Nope.
I'm not even trying to have a conversation with you. I'm not even trying." I gotta appreciate that because we're on the same level. I'm not trying to give any advices on girls or sexual advice to a 15, 14. What is you doing?
Sure.
But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. You don't, if you're an adult and you have social media, you do not want children. And I mean, I will call him a 17-year-old a child around your shit.
None of that got nothing to do with this. This is them telling a 15, 14-year-old to do something illegal. They're essentially grooming him to bang an adult. And I see some people say some shit like, "Oh, it's not so bad as a boy or whatever." Bad. You guys need to get out of that mindset.
No.
A lot of you guys think that because you guys were losers when you were in your teen years and you didn't get no pussy, that you would have been somehow much better off if you got it early. But a lot of y'all have some sexual deviance in you. And most of the guys I know that was getting laid when they was 13, 12 have some issues when it comes to their sexuality and promiscuity.
Yup. That's facts. If you have a sexual encounter when you're too young, then your whole view on sex is completely skewed.
It's not good for you. We need to stop romanticizing this whole thing and telling a kid who hasn't said that he's gay that he should somehow sleep with an older man.
That's weird.
What are we talking about? I don't want to hear none of your defenses.
That's not even weird. That's a no.
I understand there's gray zones and nuance to a lot of things. This is not one of them scenarios.
No, it's not.
You do this stuff, straight to jail, in my opinion. You deserve your cancellation. That's me.
Oh yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you are going to suggest somebody who's like, "I'm not gay," "Oh, you just haven't tried it yet," and they're 15 and you're an adult,
that's me though.
No.
Jail.
Yeah.
Also jail.
No, yo. Suppose he's like, "Yo, bro, listen, you always wanted me to be next to you. Now I could be inside of you, Paul."
Oh God, no! What the fuck?
No, B.
Whoa.
No.
And this is the man defending Drake.
Nah.
I'm just saying that Kendrick song hit a little bit different when you hear the guys who are most advocating for Drake and that that Drake be showing love to. What was that? Was that quote? The Predators move in flocks.
Yeah.
Ack was one of the biggest people. Drake would never. Nah.
And then you turn around and do this shit.
And this what you do with minors?
Or you want to?
Oh, that is gross. That is just gross.
Minor to turn around and do that shit. You're weirdo.
Yo, I'm not gay.
Nah,
you said you
you
suck at
though.
Dude, he
Nah,
sounds like
just
a
nah.
kid.
You know,
Like his balls haven't even dropped yet. This guy's balls hasn't even dropped yet, and they want to talk. And they want to talk about having sex. Like, what in the God? Oh my God! This is disgusting.
What? Hey, we're never gonna get to this. Let it play. Let it play. Let it play.
Yo.
And one of these guys is apparently Tory Lanez' manager. This is a bunch of men in their 30s and 40s talking to a 15-year-old.
Yo, if Max got a sister and she threw you the box, would you smash her?
He already has a sister.
Alright, if she threw you the box, would you smash?
No, because I'm 15.
He's literally saying, I'm 15. Why are we having this conversation? And they're just like, no, I don't care. Let's keep talking.
it's just crazy that the one that has the most sense is the 15-year-old.
Yeah.
What I mean?
She's above 18.
What I mean?
Okay, what does that mean?
It will be grooming.
That would be grooming. See, the 15-year-old is like, dude, this is some grooming shit. What the fuck are you doing? That would be grooming. The adult would be grooming me. What the hell?
It'd be what?
That'd be what?
That has nothing to do with you.
Yo, Nor, what's your address? I'm gonna send some strippers over there.
So damn, yo. I am 15. I hope you know that, bro.
See, the teenager is like, dude, why are you talking to me like this? I hope you know how old I am. Why are you doing like this? This is sad.
You trying to
No,
get?
you scared of women, bro.
I'm not scared of women. Yo, bro, you trying to put me on a case? You trying to put them on a case?
So?
What you mean? So that's weird.
No, you said no. That 50-year-old is the one with the most amount of sense.
No.
You know, all I have in my head, I got 3 notes. That's like legit. Yo, this song is just gonna get a new legendary status because of Act, bro. It's gonna haunt Drake. If they don't play that shit at the Super Bowl, I'm gonna be devastated.
Yes, they need to play that shit one time for academics.
Since this has happened, you know, there's been a lot of response.
From who? How you can explain that?
Right?
From who?
Go ahead, go off.
What are you talking about? There's been some response. To what? To what? Oh,
that's a good question, though. Who would respond to that and why? Like, why?
I can't wait to hear that one. How do you explain that? How you are so comfortable of talking like that in front of other people jeez, I'm not even saying that he should have hit himself. I'm just saying, Jesus.
As a little kid that was streaming and we're trolling the dude, and essentially, pretty much he's saying how much he loves Max. We start trolling him. Yes, the kid is like, he's young, but we're like, yo, I think somebody told him like, yo, we about to send some to you or something like that. I'm sorry. If y'all,
I'm sorry.
I'm mad that, again, we're not gonna treat men like they're girls. Like if it was a girl, I get it. A kid that we're saying, yo, you gonna f a girl? Like, I get it. He's underage, but I'm sorry. You can get mad all you want, bro.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I'm sorry. You cannot justify, oh, he's a dude, so it's okay that we're essentially grooming him. It's fine. It's a dude.
I'm sorry. Y'all can get mad all you want.
So I guess Act thinks that
it's okay.
Pedo stuff is fine if it's a boy.
Yeah.
That's essentially what he just said.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's a girl, this is unacceptable. It's beyond the pale because sexuality would probably harm her at that age. You don't think it does the same thing for boys? Go talk to a bunch of guys who was out there getting laid and doing stuff when they was in their 13, 12. A lot of them was f***ed up. A lot of them got weird relationship with sexuality. And it's still illegal. Just because you feel like it's a good thing to be a dysfunctional adult who can't keep his dick in his pants does not mean it's good for other people. And always notice, like, the guys who are trying to tell you this shit's not fine, it's normal, don't have normal dating lives.
No, they really, really don't. They have very dysfunctional dating lives. They are always looking at the people who are dysfunctional. They're mentally ill. They're abusive.
People who are always caught up in scandals, sex workers, can't keep a relationship, don't have no functioning families. They're the ones who are telling you this kind of behavior if you're young is okay. The people who are f***ed up. This is like, I don't know. This is just like taking discipline advice from a drug addict, and they're like, nigga, just do what you want when you were a kid. Just smoke that pipe. It's like, are we serious right now?
It really is. It really is. It's okay, man. Grab that pipe. Grab that spoon. It's great. Don't worry about it.
I guess that's what it is.
And a lot of people grew up with this mentality. They think that because it's men and young boys that are involved, that they're going to be fine no matter what happens to them in their teen years. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of you be neglecting these kids or f***ing them up. That's why we're getting all these stories about f***ing female teachers now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So many female teachers who bang.
It doesn't matter. It's a boy.
And a lot of guys like, well, I wish that was my teacher. You think that.
Exactly. You think you wish that was your teacher, but the power dynamic would fuck you up.
I used to think like that because I grew up with the same influences you motherfuckers did. Mm-hmm. But you know what I realized? All those people who I ever heard say that shit, they were dysfunctional when it came to their discipline and their dating lives.
Yep.
Almost every single one had cases of infidelity. They had cases of not being able to trust women. They had cases of not being able to be disciplined and not cheat. So it's just like, all the people who were counseling me and really obsessed with my sex life or the sex life of young boys, all of them had issues.
Yeah. It's almost as though you should pay attention to that shit or something.
And you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who did a lot of this kind of banging around in their young years and came out okay. Yeah. I'm not saying they all doing this weird shit, but are actually having functional dating lives as an adult. So I just wanted to say that about what this part is.
It's a kid, bro. It's a kid, but he's a male. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Nobody was trying to. We're just asking him, do you with women?
No, you did not.
Nuh-uh.
No, you did not.
You did not.
You said you want me to be next to you. How about me being inside?
Yo, you always wanted me to be next to you. Now I could be inside of you. Pause.
No, you did not just say that. And even if you did, it doesn't make it better. But you did not just do that. Let's not act like it was a, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not, you know what I mean? Yes, you did.
Yeah, you very much said exactly what you said. And it's gross. It's very, very gross, and you need to be called out for it.
Let's not act like that was not what happened. There's a whole recording. Don't act like it's some he say, she say. It's you that said that and when it was cut in 4K. Okay? Okay. Pedo shit. That's great. Okay. All right.
Since then, Academics has lost his Twitch partnership. He's been banned.
I'm
Some of the sponsors from Stake have gotten rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, there's more stuff coming down the pipes. Pause. And let's keep listening.
And it's wait a minute. It's funny because it's always these type of people that always talk about, oh, you know, they're trying to groom our kids into gay stuff. They trying to do this. There's a gay agenda. All the whole hip hop world is like, the whole hip hop world is like, there's some gay agenda with this and this trying to do this and that and the third. And it's you.
I'm just gonna say, a lot of people who were disagreeing with me on the Drake stuff and saying, yo, it's not weird for a grown man in his mid-30s to be texting girls about dating advice when they're 14.
Yeah, it is. It's very weird. That doesn't need to be happening. A grown anybody doesn't need to be texting a 14-year-old anybody about advice for dating.
It's not strange for Drake to want to involve himself with a lot of younger girls that he ends up banging when they're 18. You guys are f***ing weirdos.
Yep.
And every single person who I've seen come defend this vociferously are either one, huge f***ing stans who don't want to see it and know that they would be very uncomfortable if it was their relatives or their daughters being involved with these older gentlemen.
Or even their boys.
Okay, or the people who do this exact same behavior themselves every single time. Or they want to keep their access to Drake and make sure they're on good terms. But like, there's no business. Listen, another part of this whole dynamic that people haven't spoken about that I'm going to say, and I'll be the first one to probably say it at this point, okay? Celebrities or influencers and these Discord chat rooms are a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to even before the likes of what's it called? What's her name? Colleen Ballinger and shit. Like, it goes back to before that.
Because you start talking to random people who are constantly trying to gas you up and impress you. And they're saying the most weird fucking zany shit. And you're saying in this echo chamber where you as an influencer are always adorned. You got a bunch of yes men. And these people are losers. Genuinely speaking, the people who stay in these Discord rooms all the time trying to appease these celebrities are genuinely losers. I know, because one of the first things that they try to do with you when they're in these rooms is to try to impress you. But because they have no personality or nothing else going for them, you know what they do? They talk about sex shit.
Yep. He's not wrong. They immediately go to sex because that's all they have.
And because they're losers who don't have real sex lives, they say weird sex stuff. Say stuff they've never done, that they will never do, because nobody's ever going to look at their smegma full dicks, okay? All these dirty people, right, that spend these time in these chat rooms saying sexual shit, don't get no pussy. None of them do. Because when they talk about sex, it's so awkward. It's like, bro, nobody does what you're describing.
Yeah.
Okay? But they...
Yeah, it's literally... It's the way like Stewie Griffin would describe sex, you know, like, and we drive our matchbox cars over each other's bodies, or whatever it is grown-ups do, you know.
But they stay in these rooms, and then all of a sudden these influencers start talking like them. They's like, oh, these my buddies. I'm gonna just say this goofy ass shit too.
They like that, so I'm gonna do that. That's what sometimes influencers do. That they really want to appease their crowd. Yeah. So they please their crowd, and they join. Well, I think that's what the crowd do. A bit like what TV does as well. You know what I mean? Or we think that's what the people in the general public likes, so we're gonna push that onto them. Yeah. And then they do the same thing with their crowd. That's weird. That's weird.
And the thing about it is, a lot of these influencers also don't got much personality themselves. They made it great. But once they start sitting in these areas, they're trying to connect with these faceless people who have no personalities. And then the only way they can really do it is by saying weird, goofy-ass sex stuff.
It's true. And it's gross. And the fact that they're like, oh, well, it's a boy, so it's fine. It's a male, so it's fine. It doesn't matter that he's underage. He's a dude. He's okay. He can handle it.
Or joining in on these kind of weird campaigns of trolling. Because that's the only way these people can connect with each other online. This is also part of a symptom of having relationships with people who are only online. Because guess what? If these people were face to face with each other, they would never feel as confident and as brazen and say a lot of this goofy ass shit. Because most of them who are in these rooms are losers. So anyways, that's my little rant about Discord chat rooms and people who love saying goofy ass sexual shit online. It is one of the most cringe things I've ever seen, because I've discovered Discord through the pandemic, and it made me realize that people get online and pretend to be something they're not every single day. And it's like, if you do get laid or you have been laid, you don't talk like that. No. But why are you guys, the ones who get zero poop, always out here discussing this topic? You know,
and like Abba said, they talk about it in the most deviant way possible. And it's like, dude, nobody talks about sex that way.
You know what? It reminds me of when I was in high school and elementary school. When end of elementary school, you know, we talk about sex with our friends and stuff like that. And I remember, like, the minute in my end of elementary, you think you know what you're doing and everything. Like, you know what you think you know what you're talking about. So you talk about this whole, everything makes you think about that, or you say some wild shit. Haha, it's funny because you don't really know. Fast forward high school, mid-high school, I get with my girlfriend, and then boom, it stopped. Cause I had my relationship, and I was like, I had my first relation. And it was like, it's like if it kind of left my body because I kind of knew what it was.
Yeah. You knew about it, so you didn't have to talk about it. It was there. It was something that you like. It wasn't. It was already done and over with. So it was, you didn't have to talk about it.
Yeah, I was like, there kind of was like this sense of, nah, that's just kid shit. We don't talk like that no more. We're gonna respect this and that. I don't talk about, you know what I mean? Yeah. There is a switch from when you haven't done anything and you just think you're funny and this and that, but it's really just because you are uncomfortable with yourself and with the perception that you have of the world and the sexual world and stuff like that. So you just don't do this thing. Instead of being comfortable, I'm gonna make people uncomfortable so I don't have to deal with it. So it makes me think of that whenever they talk wild like that. It's like, no, you haven't done none of those things.
No. That's very true. They haven't done any of those things that they've talked about. That's just
None.
that's
Shut
that,
up.
that's
None.
true.
You don't act like that right now. You cosplaying.
Yeah.
And you know how I know? It's because I did those things and it don't feel none like what you're describing. So you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Oh, you know when you go in the beach and it feels like Jello? You've never been to the beach.
Yeah, exactly. You go to the beach and it feels like this, and you know the ocean, smells like strawberry jam. It's like, what are you talking about?
It don't feel like Jello, not once. Yep. Okay, you haven't experienced that.
You know what it's like? This is like when people have shock humor just for the sake of shock humor, because it's like the most inflammatory thing and it gets people's reaction. Doesn't require any effort to be funny. Doesn't require any skill. You're just gonna say the most inflammatory thing and be like, I'm funny. It's the same thing with the sex stuff. You never notice that they never say normal sex stuff. It's always like, oh, what if I just came up and took you from behind while you weren't ready?
Yeah. It's always super, like, out there, really, like, raunchy, gross stuff. And then you're like, what the fuck? And then they're like, oh, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, bro. And you're like, dude, that's not funny. Just stop.
What? Are you talking about grape? Is that what you think that it's cool to talk about right now? Yeah, what if I just stuck a finger? Or what if they love to talk about feet? None of these people have ever smelled somebody else's foot. But it's the funniest thing in the world. Yeah. It is kind of funny. But it's the funniest thing in the world to be like, oh my God, I just can't. Can I sniff your feet? They just like saying that to random.
Yeah.
And you guys might be confused because you're like, well, Abba, why are you saying all this shit when you have a Discord? I've banned all that kind of talk in Discord. I don't let these nerds do that goofy ass shit. And if they do, they get banned.
Real quick.
Real fast. I don't got time to see and that's how you have to manage these communities. If you let this kind of loserdom permeate and you don't get rid of these losers,
it's going to look bad on you.
It's not. It's just going to grow.
Yep.
So you have to cut that shit off early, but that's what I hear. When I listen to Ack and these groups of guys, okay, do I honestly believe that these guys were trying to bang this kid? No. Does it really matter that much? Absolutely not. To me, not really. Why? Because you're still talking to a young man and you may influence him to actually go get involved with an adult. You are still grooming him, whether you intended to or not, okay? Yeah. But what it makes me remind me of is all the chat rooms I used to see when I went into some of these Discords, and I was like, is this how you losers engage with the online world?
It is, though. It is how they engage with the online world, and it's scary. It's scary the way that these people engage with the online world. And, like, they have no idea of how actual people speak. And when actual people that have lives outside of the internet get on the internet and run into these people, they're like, what the hell is the matter with you? Why are you speaking to me like that? And it's just weird and uncomfortable, and I just don't understand why people think that it's okay to talk to people like that, especially if they're children. That's just not okay. Oh, speaking of children, I'm gonna go hang out with mine. And then I'll be back on Twitch later. I'm gonna play some more Diablo, and I will do the campaign with my rogue and try and get into that stupid keep. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday. I will see you guys later on. Bye, everybody.